makes us sound a whole lot more clever than we actually are, because we probably don't understand half the shit we're talking about. So we now start saying that we're a taxonomist or an ontologist. I still don't know what the difference is. We say we're an information retrieval specialist and that we understand the different layers of how information retrieval systems work and all the rest of it. We're now a market researcher because we can predict where we should actually be going next as a business step, because hey, Uber did that with their cabs. We're now a content strategist, PR consultant, brand consultant, and we're now a mentor and trainer. And the SEO is now generally at the heart of many big businesses that I've worked with inside the sort of last 10 or 15 years. Because the SEO role has become a sort of polymath role. It's become about leading people and leading teams inside multiple different contexts and driving that forward. And increasingly what I see is that SEOs are becoming the superheroes of the internet. We're no longer the people who are throwing shit at the wall, as we used to do with, I think that one I saw earlier on looked like it was some sort of WordPress injection that was going on, so I'm going to have to ask what that was later. To get all those links out all those different blogs, unless he was using a centralized service that was parsing it in. But we're now doing lots of good for the web. We're actually making websites accessible. We're now talking about web speed, not just because it's good for Google, but it's good for users. And now we're making the internet so it's actually usable by people in the third world and various things like that. We're having real impact in all the things that we're doing to make the internet great. So that one shouldn't be blank. That one should be this one, which says thank you. Thank you very much for listening to me talk crap. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Really good.
Cheers.
Right, so
Thank you so much. Okay, and for final talk of the night, we have James Norquay, who's going to talk to us about the top 3 things to focus on in SEO in 2019. Please give a big round of applause for James.
Thanks everyone for coming down tonight. Thank you to come wherever you've come from. I know someone said they were coming up from Melbourne for this event, so that's a big way to come on. Thanks for coming on, mate. Yeah, pretty much my talk tonight is just going to be talking about 3 key areas for SEO 2019-2020. There's a bunch of actionable tips in here for everyone, so hopefully you can learn something new tonight. I know there's been a lot of information, but yeah. Let's start with a quick little story. Back in about a year ago, we were called out in an event. It was called SEO Sydney, and someone said, if Prosperity Media is so good, how come you're not ranking for SEO Sydney? So we were like, shit, we're gonna have to build a massive landing page. We built a 2,000 word page. We got it ranking in 4th position. And we're like, yeah, we're thinking, show me the money. Like, we're gonna get all these good leads coming in. We're gonna really be making some good money from this ranking. But the thing was, these were the types of leads we started getting. Like, hey James, I'm after 2 keywords ranking. Hey James, I want to rank for male stripper Sydney. Hey James, I've got a $70 to $150 a month budget. And then the 4th email that came in was an adult nappies lead. So I didn't even know that niche existed. And then we were kind of like, we don't want to be ranking for SEO Sydney anymore because all the leads were shitty. And the lesson is here, you can rank really well for a keyword, but it doesn't mean that the leads are going to be quality. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm in 1st position for SEO Sydney. It doesn't mean shit because it can be crappy traffic. A little bit about me, I've been doing SEO 14 years. Last year we got awarded Best Agency in Australia at the SEO and Rush Awards. Jeremy from Finder was one of the judges, so that was pretty cool. Way back in the day, I used to run a big MySpace layout site. It had 25 million visitors to it. I've built like 50 other websites over the years. We Run a few affiliate properties at the moment that do pretty well. Done SEO for some really big companies over the years. But what am I going to be talking about tonight? So technical SEO issues, content and landing pages, link acquisition, and some other growth tips. So first, 8 common technical SEO issues that we see. Poorly formatted schema markup. This was for a client that we took on, and the prior agency left default schema markup on the whole schema that they implemented on the site. So this was not a small business either. This is a business doing multiple millions in revenue, and the other agency didn't even implement the correct schema. So the first thing you got to look at is your schema markup. A really good tool where you can test schema markup at scale is Surfer SEO. So this is a tool out of Poland, and you can search for any keyword that you want to target, and you can look at the types of schema markup that's been used in that search result. It's quite a new tool, and it's not that expensive, so definitely worth checking out. Another issue that we see is slow loading websites that are taking long time to load. A really good tool to kind of look at website speed at scale is batchspeed.com. So you can get speed and data analytics and whatnot at scale from this tool. It's very useful, so definitely check that one out. Another really good tool to downsize images is squoosh.app. So basically, if you've got really large images on your website, we see sites that have 14 megabyte images. Like, it's crazy. You can easily use squoosh.app and downsize those images. Another great tool to use is Built With, and you want to look at scripts that sites are running. We see this multiple times where you talk to a new client and you look at how many scripts they're currently running, and they might be running like 56 scripts, and out of those scripts, they're only using 20 still. So it's an easy win from a speed point of view. Another really important factor that a lot of people don't even think about is TTFB, so time to first byte. And once again, you can look at Surfer SEO and you can see what the TTFB on the results are for any given keyword. It's very useful. Another crazy thing that we see, still in today's market, are sites spamming the hell out of meta keywords. I mean, meta keywords were rolled out, stopped by Google 10 plus years ago, but you still see large businesses that just spam it heavily. If it's a spam signal, don't do it. An easy one that a lot of brands still make this mistake is missing meta descriptions at scale. So if you've got a really good money page on your site and you don't have a meta description, Google's just going to pull any random text from the page. Another thing that a lot of businesses make the mistake of is broken internal links. It's not good from a UX point of view, and it's easy to pick up. I mean, you can use Sitebulb, you can use SEMrush. There's multiple tools that you can use to find broken links and fix them. Another big issue that we see is issues with canonical tags on websites. People just don't set them up correctly. They'll make mistakes. It can cause a world of issues. Another big problem that we've seen is legacy link acquisition issues. So basically what can happen is someone can do SEO on your website 10 years ago. They can build really low quality links, and if you don't check what that work's been done 10 years ago, it can come and bite you today. So there's tools like Ahrefs, Majestic, etc., that you can look into and start using them. I'd also highly recommend companies do regular scrapes of your website. I mean, there's so many tools you can use to do this. There's Deepcrawl, there's Sitebulb. It's so easy to do, and you just want to set it every week or at least every month at a minimum, because many businesses don't even do the basics like this. Next bit, we're going to talk about some content assets, landing pages, etc. A great tool that we use for keyword research and landing pages is clearscope.io. It's built out of Silicon Valley by a guy called Bernard. He's a very switched on character. With this tool, you can look at commercial keywords and you can get the content grade. You can look at the word count. You can also get the readability of the keyword. This is a really good tool because you can dig deeper, and it uses TF-IDF to kind of look at how that page is currently sitting from an SEO point of view. It scrapes the top 20 results in Google, and it shows common factors that those pages that are currently ranking well are using. So there's an example for rewards credit cards. As you can see on the right over there, it tells you keywords that you should be using, how you can optimize your page, etc., etc. Next tactic that I want to talk about is Skyscraper Tactic. I've got friends in the affiliate space that have been using this for 10 years and doing very well, even still to today. It's working very well. A little quick case study from a client that we work with in the US. They took their site from 0 to over 150,000 keywords ranking. The main thing that we did here was just skyscraper assets, so building out long-form content assets and getting them ranking for commercial keywords in the US market. Now I just want to talk about some ideas around content, things that are working really well still to this day. So statistics-based content assets. Any business can do a statistics-based content asset. Doesn't matter how small or big you are. This is an example from HubSpot. It has 17,000 referring domains to their statistics content asset. So it's an easy content asset that still works today. Any business can do it. You can make a statistics piece. The thing about statistics pieces are that journalists go and look for this type of information and they'll link back to it. Seasonal content also works. Doesn't matter what niche you're in. This is an example for the aged care space. So 13 amazing Halloween costumes for the elderly. Doesn't matter what space you're in, you can still get creative. Newsjacking. This was an example from, I think it was New York Times. They have a content asset around silly things that Donald Trump said. It's got over 3,000 links to this page. So if you've got something that's timely in the news, you can easily make a content asset about it. In-depth guides are also working really well. Like this is one from Buffer, has over 330 referring domains. Verse landing pages, we've been doing this for many years, especially if you're in the software space. You can do things like Dropbox versus Google Drive. It has over 6,900 searches in the US. Get these pages ranking. They're really good from a commercial intent point of view. People that are in like the buying funnel, they're looking for this type of stuff. Comparison content as well. Like we've done this for some of our smaller startup clients. Like we did an article for Spacer. We did Kennard Storage versus Spacer. So we got it ranking for Kennard Storage for their brand term in 3rd position. The funny thing was, Kennard Storage actually wrote like a blow-up article about Spacer, and they linked back to us in the article. So they were helping us. It was like the CEO's like, don't trust Spacer. So it's crazy. Like you can get links from doing this type of comparison content. You can like compare things that people are always interested in. People are always like, Sydney is better than Melbourne, Melbourne's better than Sydney. You can make content assets around this. The next bit, I'm just going to talk about a few link acquisition ideas, things that are working in today's market. So quick show of hands. Who do you think gets better results from email outreach, males or females? If it's males, raise your hands. So clearly everyone knows it's females. So someone did a study, James Agate in the US. He, I think he's in UK, sorry. He did a massive email study, and you can see that females get a far higher percentage of return in comparison to males. So the thing is, if you're going to be doing outreach at scale, you always want to use a female team member as the PR contact because it's going to get better ROI. The thing is, another huge problem I see a lot of companies still making is when you're sending the emails, always send them as the company. I see a lot of agencies that send out email outreach on behalf of the clients. It gets a far lower reply rate. The thing is, a lot of people have trouble finding contact information. There's great tools you can use, there's hunter.io. You can also look into the Facebook Contact Us page, and you can kind of see in the About section, usually people put their emails in there. So if you're trying to get in contact with someone, always check the Facebook About Us section. Another big thing is, you always want to track and see how your deliverability of your emails is. Because if you're sending a large volume of emails and you've got poor deliverability, you're not going to have a good access rate. So you can use mail-tester.com to do that. The thing is, you always want to follow up. Because if you're not following up, you're not going to have the higher rate of success. Backlinko did a big study on that where they kind of tested how many emails they were sending, They did follow-ups, and you can see the reply rate greatly increases. Days of the week are also important for outreach. You want to be sending emails on Wednesday. You don't want to be sending emails on Saturday or Sunday because you're not going to get that reply rate. Time of the day is also important. You want to be sending emails at around 10 a.m. That has the best results according to MailChimp. You want to also be creative with your email outreach. This was an email I got from limlist.com. So basically it was like a wanted poster and it said, James, wanted for SEO, SEM, Google Analytics. I was like, what the hell is this? And then I didn't reply. And then he sent me another email. It was like my name on a coffee cup. So this email definitely got my attention. I was like, who is this Gilliam guy? Like he's pestering me and he wants to have a coffee. But emails like this stand out. It's like so many of us get these crappy emails where they're like, hello, hopefully you are great. I considered to read some of your articles. It would be amazed to authorize me to sponsor your site. So like the thing is, you're never going to reply to someone like this because the email's trash. So and this was just an example of some outreach that we were doing for a client. So the client said, hey, we need some outreach. We need you to help on a campaign. So we did some outreach and we sent 10 emails and we got a potential feature on AFR. So the thing is, if you're sending the right targeted emails, you don't need to send a high volume. They just have to be worded nicely and say the right things. A common question is like, how do I get EDU links and I don't want to get a penalty? Like the thing is, you can do student discounts. I mean, people have been doing student discounts for like 20 years. Google even does student discounts on products. Apple does them. It's so easy to do. I mean, Budget Direct is doing this pretty hard, so they're a pretty big brand. So that's one tactic, but you can also take it to the next level and offer staff discounts. So you have a student discount page, but you also have a staff discount page. So it can definitely work well. This is a cool little strategy that Real Insurance was doing to get government links. Basically what they did was they went and put gym equipment in all these different local areas and they built a microsite called, it was like Real Insurance, like Healthy Spaces. And then they redirected it all to a page once they got a whole bunch of government links to their gym equipment in different council areas. So it was a pretty crazy strategy. I don't know if it was set out to get links, but definitely worked. You also want to be thinking about accessibility in your outreach strategies because I was at a conference in the US and a guy, his whole outreach strategy was based upon accessibility of links and saying that certain sites had links that weren't accessible and their content is accessible. So you can use tenon.io to do this. It's a really cool tool. You also want to reverse image lookup like who's stealing your content. If you're a large business, you'll find that a lot of people will steal your content and won't source you back. I had a quick look at CBA and you can see there was like 2,000 people that were stealing their content. You can easily do that on Google Images. You can do reverse image search to look out who's taking your content assets and check if they're actually linking back to you because it's an easy win. You also want to look at who's linking to your social media accounts because if you're getting a really good link to a social media account, there's no point. You'd rather it go to your branded website, wouldn't you? Just going to talk about a few other quick growth tactics that we've tested and that are working. So hands up, who's using Bing Webmaster tools in Australia right now? So yeah, pretty crazy. It looks like about 30% of the audience is using Bing. So Bing Webmaster tools is easy. And a lot of people say, I don't want to use Bing because I'm not going to get any traffic from Bing. Well, this is some example of some clients that are getting over 10,000 visitors a month in Australia right now from Bing Webmaster tools. Even though Bing only has between 3 and 5% market share, if you're a big site, you want to think about it. You want to get on there and start looking at the analytics and whatnot because it's definitely worth it. The next one we did a cool little strategy. So we reached out to Kevin O'Leary on cameo.com and we got him to do a little shout out video. So I think it was 700 US at the time. The thing was, we used the Kevin O'Leary video in remarketing and we also used it as an April Fool's joke. So we built a content asset to say Prosperity Media hires Kevin O'Leary and we had the funny video and it got a bit of traction. So you can definitely do that with Cameo. The next thing you can do is you can look on Ahrefs, and you can reverse engineer Quora, and you can then search from a keyword point of view to find interesting threads that people are talking about in your industry and get on there and contribute. Another thing we're seeing that's a bit spammy is emojis in SERPs, especially in the coupon space. A lot of people are spamming heavily with this. Would we recommend it? Probably not, but it can work from a CTR point of view. As you can see, you can still see some niches where fire emojis and things like that are showing up in search results, so it's definitely interesting. Another thing I want to say is you always want to look for acquisition opportunities for websites. So this was a site that we bought this year. It had 300,000 words of content. It was on a downward trend, but we were able to get it for quite a good price. So the thing is, you can buy websites like this, and you can fix them up, and they can essentially make a good annual income for you or for your business or whatever. So acquisition of websites is one area you don't see many people talking about, but it's a really great area to make money. And to wrap things up, remember, good SEO takes months or years to achieve, but it can pay off in a big way. So this was a client, This was a client that we helped grow their business from 300,000 to 600,000 unique visitors a day from SEO. So it's always funny when you see people that say SEO is dead, this and that, because there's businesses out there that are getting big traffic from SEO. So it's definitely not dead, it's alive and well, but you've got to do it correctly. And to finally wrap it up, get technical SEO right from the start, monitor it on an ongoing basis, get the right landing pages and content assets going, ensure that you send the right emails, look for link acquisition wins, and also look for cool growth ideas. And then finally, if anyone's had a good time tonight at this event, next year we're running a little conference in Sydney, so it's called the Online Marketing Sydney Conference. It's only $199. To be honest with you, this conference is costing big money to put on. We're flying out some really top SEOs from the US. We've got Matt Diggity, we've got Craig Campbell from the UK, we've got Jared Codlin. Some of these top guys are coming down to speak, and we're making it really affordable because we want to give back to the community. We want everyone coming in. There's so many conferences in Australia, but they're $1,000 to go to, and the people that are running them don't even work in SEO. They're just absolute jokers. So I hope we can get some people here tonight if you've had fun. The code is Finder, so yeah, check it out. Yeah, that's it. We'll have a little Q&A panel now.
Thank you, James. So we've run a little bit over time. Unfortunately, we're going to skip the Q&A, but I wanted to just do a big round of applause again for all the amazing speakers we've had tonight. So please give it a